Stand up, my legions. I summon you now. Time to meet our enemy in glorious combat. Now is the time. Awake, my legions. Arise to task. The day is upon us. Awake, arise, or be forever fallen.
Awake, arise, or be forever fallen. These are Satan's words. Satan is summoning his legions. Lucifer, the morning star, the light bringer, the prince of hell, the star of Remphan, Moloch, Baal, the Saturn, whatever is the name. He is cast out of heaven to the lake of fire. Paradise is lost to him. It is lost to him and other angels, Beelzebul and Leviathan, who rebelled against God. Awake, awake, my legions. Now and only now is the time, or be forever fallen. The legions had woken. They woke. In this video, we would like to explore the possible meanings of concepts so easily distributed to us from every screen and practically every narrative. We would like to fantasize about how the ideas and influences come to our society through the ages, and how art gives us hints and clues. How the human masses are being manipulated in their thinking, or lack of it. We also would like to examine the notion if the elites or parts of it in the West or broader are adepts of other than, at least in a traditional sense, divine ideology. We will explore speculative theory if the elites could be adepts of a Luciferian cult. Awake, arise, or be forever fallen. Line 330 from John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost. The poem, published in 1667, is a retelling of the biblical story of the fall of man, depicting the rebellion of Satan and the expulsion of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. Interesting how the concept of being asleep and awake is a theme and a play of words in this work. Is being asleep inherently inferior to being awake? Which state is better for the being or not being? When one is asleep, they are resting, even healing perhaps. Is death just an eternal sleep? Is paradise only open to those who are no longer in the world of living, therefore in the arms of death, therefore asleep? Is the awake state of mind and body the only state when one can act or make decisions, whether for the good or to the evil end? Regardless, forgive our great many questions. Woke is the word that we hear from every direction, starting from elementary school teachers, social justice warriors, mainstream media, the silver screens of Hollywood, and the highest tribunes in the land in Congress and other governing bodies. What does it mean exactly? Is the true meaning of the woke culture known to us? Are those who follow it understand it well? Those who proudly wear it on their sleeve and carry it as some sort of marvel, they revere it and praise it as an idol. A golden idol. A golden calf, perhaps. This term is being offered to us as social justice championship. A struggle of all good against all evil. A struggle for equality and equity of everyone and everything. Hypothesis is, of course, that large part of population had been tortured with systemic injustices. Per popular belief, the term woke originally comes from African American Vernacular English, AAVE, and means being awake or aware, especially in the context of social and political issues. The oppressed must be aware. Oppressed are to be aware and alerted. All the oppressed on basis of race, sexuality, gender, social status, education, and everything and anything that can be thought of as forms of oppression. All should arise and fight the oppression and the oppressors, or be forever fallen. With that, we would like to offer an postulation that the term reappeared, if not originated, from the Sir Milton's work of literature and further amplified by other artists like Sir Lawrence. Disclaimer: we, of course, do not suggest that anyone should be mistreated or oppressed on any basis at all, nor we call for any kind of mayhem or suggest that any individual or group is in the wrong or in the right, or should be discriminated in any way, shape, or form. The above exercise is purely philosophical and peaceful in nature. Nevertheless, it is important to point out that John Milton, 1608 to 1674, was an English poet, prose writer, and civil servant. Milton is considered one of the greatest poets in the English language, and Paradise Lost is a significant work in Western literature. Therefore, was very influential. Thus, if we are to assume that influence spreads in a concept of vector, we could arrive at a conclusion that concepts of this would land in today's modern society, in the most educated layers of it. Perfect example of such influence would be Sir Thomas Lawrence, 1769 to 1830, was an English portrait painter, Considered one of the leading portrait painters of the Regency era, he is the one who gave us the impressive painting, which is tracing through this video as a background theme, Satan Summoning His Legions, which was painted 1796 to 1797. In 1830, the painting was exhibited at the British Institution with the line from Milton as its title, Satan, awake, arise, or be forever fallen. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, let's enter a conspiracy territory and explore how the ideology of the elites could be affected. We must warn you, we are entering increasingly dark territory indeed. Lasciate ton speranza, voi entrate. Abandon all hope, you who enter here. Dante Alighieri Inferno. There is great many theories floating out where most, of course, are meaningless lies or fantasies. Not all, however, are translated in the alternative public forums by high-ranking officials of prominent intelligence agencies. One of such instances is the Committee of Chaos speech given by a former head of the FBI regarding the Illuminati ring ruling the world. This is not a new thesis, rather a resurfacing of information spoken about by many before. Special Agent Ted Gunderson, he was outspoken about a number of allegations regarding secret cults and events in the 1980s and 90s. He attempted to expose government cover-ups such as Oklahoma City bombing, World Trade Center bombing, and other attacks. He also claimed that there are severe human trafficking crimes, including children who are sold as sex slaves and even sacrificed in satanic rituals. He claimed that there are 4,000 ritual human sacrifices in Nice each year. He also made many other outrageous claims before his death from cancer in 2011. Outrageous claims. Are those so impossible as they look like? What does the official government statistics say? This is from Nice.gov. More than 13,000 people were reported missing in New York City last year. While most are promptly found, hundreds of people become missing long-term, missing for 60 or more days. Nationwide, there are more than 87,000 active missing persons cases, while there are tens of thousands of unidentified persons for whom little to no information is entered into national databases. This is information that is available to the public. According to FAIR.org, there are approximately 16.8 million illegal immigrants in the United States today, and the numbers are climbing. Only on Thanksgiving Day 2023, when this video was made, 3,875 individuals crossed US border illegally. Number display was clicking every second or so, adding to the number. 3,876, 3,977, 4,000. We got the point. Is it so hard to imagine if 4,000, this in 90s, or, let's assume linear progression to today, 10,000 can be vanished without a trace throughout the country and no one will notice? The answer is no, of course not. How many of those are women, children? How many disappeared today? No one will ever know, and this is in US only. How many are in Europe? How many are in the less developed countries? How many disappear in war zones? Hundreds of thousands each year. Where do they go? Some are runaways and live somewhere unnoticed. Some die on their own. Some are later found. But some are enslaved. Disassembled for organs transplant trade. Sexually exploited. Perhaps even sacrificed in occult rituals. The level of evil is far passing the imagination. However, the average society dweller imagination by no means is the limit to sinister minds of the rulers. In one of our previous videos, we showed why Luciferian ideology is pretty much the only choice for secret rulers, because it holds them together and controls every member to keep them in check due to severity of crimes against humanity they engage in, and absolutely no defense if they get exposed. Therefore, every member will keep their secrets and carry them into their graves. As a gruesome example, there is no excuse for a paedophile cannibal, none whatsoever. Well, let's come back to the theory at hand. This theory speculates that in 1727 there had been a secret society organized in the powerful ruling class in the most prominent empire of the time, the British Empire. The group was founded and composed of the British aristocracy. This group was known as Committee of 300, or the Olympians. This group was believed to have principal authority to set direction in world's politics, commerce, banking, media, and the military for centralized global effort. The theory first publicly appeared in a statement made by German politician Walther Rathenau in a 1909 article, Geschichtliche Nachwuchs, In Mifre Press are 300 men, all of whom know one another, guide the economic destinies of the continent, and seek their successors from their own milieu. The goals of this society are such: global government with ban of middle class, traditional values such as religion, family, freedoms to move, speak, and do business, mandatory drug injection to weaken the will and the mind, strict population control and goal of population to 1 billion other next 100 years. There are more detailed goals, but for interest of time we will explore them in some other video. This does sound very familiar, doesn't it? Yes, it does, because it aligns to globalist goals preached in every university in the Western world. It is also exactly the rulebook of communist in early 20th century in the revolutionary Russia. Needless to say that this failed miserably at the time. This is also pretty much the globalists' goals, however a bit softer version of the above. Let's take a quick look. 1. International cooperation. 1 government. 2. Economic globalization. 1 economy. 3. Environmental stewardship. Green religion. 4. Human rights and social justice. 1 justice system. 5. Global governance. 1 control apparatus. 6. Technological innovation. Control and surveillance technologies are key. 7. Health security. Physical body and mind control through medication. 8. Cultural exchange. 1 culture, no diversity. Is that woke enough for you? This is as woke as it gets. This is communist values and goal of global communist revolution, endgame. Do not be fooled here. Communism is only a vehicle. Ultimately the goal is total control. All the other noise has no meaning. Only total control. Awake, arise, or be forever fallen. Just like Sir Milton showed us. The Satan summons his legions, Morning Star, the Star of Remphan, the Saturn. This video is running a bit long. Thus, we will break it off and produce part 2. Part 2 will contain insinuations on how the art is tied to power and is a liaison to the cult. What messages are translated through art, and how the entire conspiracy is out in the open. Please subscribe to this channel and select your reaction in a form of a like or a comment. Also, please feel free to watch part 0, Satanic Cult Rules the World video.